We still hustle daily. What's up, Hustle Nation? Welcome back to another video. It's your boy Ray, Big Play, coming to y'all with another video today. And this is a story time. I got another one for y'all. So, who the F did she have a baby with? Alright, so we about to tap in. Sorry about that. Make sure y'all like the video, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Subscribe to both channels. We got We Still Hustle Daily, and we got We Still Hustle Daily 2. The number 2 after We Still Hustle Daily, alright? So both channels release story times every single day. Let's go ahead and get right into this one. Make sure y'all smash the like button. Make sure y'all grab y'all some popcorn, some chips, some popcorn. It's a long video, but I'm interested in hearing it. So let's get right into it.
Can you believe that a 45-year-old man has gone 4 months now without inquiring about his son that was born 7 weeks ago? Not for a photo, not for, is he okay? Was he born, healthy? Nothing, just nothing. This was the same man, just old, that didn't like his name when I first told him, and this was when we were still together even, because he kept saying he wanted to come up with names, but he didn't want to know the gender of our child. He refused to let me tell him the gender of our child because he said that would feel too real. It is real. I was 20 weeks pregnant around then, when I think 18 weeks pregnant or so, when he finally not even let me tell him the gender, but I was like, well, I'm telling you because I don't want to keep it a secret anymore and I want to tell people. And then when I posted on social media that I was pregnant because I was being weird for 20 weeks, so I posted on social media that I was pregnant. The only people that knew were my family and my closest friends and him, obviously. He didn't tell anybody, and he blocked me and broke up with me because I posted on Instagram, said I ruined his life. That's the same guy that wanted me to name my child after him, and that's the only name suggestion he would give me. He gave me a couple Hawaiian names after I told him absolutely no Hawaiian names, and they were not even creative. They were one letter off of his other son's name. He also made fun of my old Instagram, not even made fun of, insulted me all the time for my old Instagram and TikTok username. It was Crazy Daisy, if you didn't know that. And then he was like, you need to change it, basically saying that I looked like a promiscuous person because my name was Crazy Daisy on social media. I don't want to say the word he would use. I'm like, no, I don't. And first of all, you apparently fell in love with me when I had this stupid username. It's been like that forever, but whatever. So I finally changed it, and I changed it to Sunny Days because everybody calls me Days, but then the Sunny part, that was just a coincidence. I wanted to name Soul at that point, but I wasn't set on it because we were arguing so much about it, but still kind of together. And I just changed it to Sunny. I don't even know why. And then later on, my mom came up with a nickname, Sunny, and then it was also my name. But then it was oh my god, are people gonna think that, not that I care, but are people gonna think that I named my kid after my Instagram? So that's the story on how that came about, and I don't regret changing it because it, like I said, it worked out perfect, and from Crazy Daisy to Sunny Days, and then how all coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences. But long story short, yeah, Soul turned 7 weeks old today, and his 45-year-old dad has still not even, I'm not even going to call him his dad because he's not his dad. He has made that clear that he is not his dad. But he has not even, he doesn't even know his birthday. I've never posted Soul's exact birthday or anything. Nothing. Isn't that crazy? I just can't believe that. And then he goes around Maui telling people lies about me. Very mean lies. So I will tell the truth. He was a fighter. He was a freaking fighter. And I'm just not like that. And honestly, I will be totally honest, I was with other exes in the past. And I would fight with them, especially my first boyfriend. Not my ex in between him, but my first boyfriend I would fight with. And I think that stems from trauma and me being comfortable with him. So if he was saying this, he would be like, Daisy, you're a fighter. But I really am not. I really am not. That was other issues going on. I'm kind of just a disappearer. Like, I do not do the crazy blow up stuff, but he would, and then I would go so crazy in my head that I would just break down and cry and get so upset. And then I told him, you know, like, I am a leaver. Like, I will not be with somebody that, as much as I love you, like, in love with him, I will just leave. As much as that, like, destroys me. And I don't think he believed that. Well, I know he didn't believe that after I was pregnant, and so pregnant. And I did fight for us to be together. When I said I was done, I was done. And I think he thought, like, he could keep doing this whole thing. And, no. Like, there's just somebody better, nicer, cooler, hotter, younger, richer. Like anybody with a minimum wage job is richer. So, like, I told him, I'll just go find that. Like, as much as I love you, I am more than half your age, less than half your age, I don't know. So I have plenty of time to figure this whole thing out of, like, being with somebody else, and I'm fine also not being with anybody, and you're old and a effing loser. So that's, like, a little tip of the iceberg.
Everybody's dying to know how I met my 45-year-old ex baby daddy. It's actually a really cute story, I think. So I was living on Oahu, and I was not talking to anybody, like, completely single, did not want to be with anybody, all of that vibe, you know, like in my single girl era, just me and the girls. But there was this guy that I would see at the beach, and I saw him another place too, like, just from afar, like, literally just visually see, not, like, talk to anything. I saw him surf, like, just a couple times, like, random things, and I thought he was very attractive, and I would tell my friends, and, like, my best friend can vouch, like, oh my gosh, if I were to talk to anybody, because there's another thing, like, I didn't want to talk to anybody, if I were to talk to anybody, it'd be like that guy. But it was like a joke. Like, I didn't even think he necessarily lived there, because I saw him, like, in, like, a month span, I think, or maybe, like, a month and a half. So, and I also would hear him, like, I would overhear him talk to his friends, and they would all speak Portuguese. So I didn't know if he lived there or not, and I wasn't going to go up to him because he was always with his friends, and I didn't want to just assume he spoke English. And like I said, I just didn't want to talk to anybody, so it was kind of just like, oh, if it happens. It was just a joke. It was just like, oh, that's like the one guy I find attractive here. It wasn't anything, you know? It's not like I ever thought about him unless I, like, saw him. And yeah. And guys, Hawaii is, like, so small, especially Oahu. I mean, everywhere, but I was on Oahu and Maui most of the time, and it is so small, so you see everybody knows everybody, like, yeah. Well, then a month or so later from, like, the last time I had seen him, like I said, just visually see him, one of my friends, like, kind of like a friend of a friend at the time, so she didn't know me, like, super well, but she was like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing this guy, and the other night I met his cousin, and I think, like, you guys are perfect for each other. Like, so random, right? Especially because I, like, at the time didn't really know this girl, like, super well or anything. And I was just kind of like, I mean, like, okay, like, who is it? Like, what do you mean? And she's like, okay, just, you know, let me see what you think of him. It's a little bit, like, different. And she pulls up his Instagram, and it is the Instagram of the guy I'd seen at the beach. And I did find his Instagram. I never knew his name or anything. But in one of my friends' posts, like, another guy, surfer guy, so he was tagged in this big group photo on their story. So I went through all the tags and I found him. I didn't follow him or anything, but I was like, oh, there he is. That was it. So she pulls up his Instagram, shows me a picture of him and another guy. The other guy is younger, like, obviously younger. And she's like, what do you think? And I'm like, it's that one, right? Pointing to the one I knew it was, the one I'd seen at the beach. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, I think he's so attractive, and this is so crazy. Like, what a coincidence. Again, I just don't believe in coincidences. And she's like, you should message him. And I'm like, message him? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm a girl. I don't message guys. And she's like, no, I think you should just message him, like, blah, blah, blah. So that day I messaged him, which I do think is so cringe. But then he said he immediately recognized me. And okay, and I didn't explicitly mention this in my first video about this, but I didn't know he was 45, guys, when we met. Like, I didn't fucking know that. So the friend that I met him through, kind of, who was dating his cousin, all that group of people, they were like 30, maybe 35, some of them. And when I saw my ex, like, on the beach, I definitely knew he was older. Like, I knew he wasn't like a 22-year-old UH student, but he doesn't look 45. Are you kidding me? Like, so many of the comments were like acting like I couldn't pull a guy my age. Really? I thought he was like 35. And I knew he had a kid. After I looked at his Instagram and after we started messaging on Instagram, I knew he had a kid. His kid was all over his Instagram. He is a great dad to that kid, and I love that kid so much. But that's all I'm gonna like talk about. That's it. And I don't think it's a red flag for someone to have a kid. I don't want someone to think I'm a red flag for having a kid and not being with the father. Like, life happens. So all the comments like, you should have known he has a kid. Yeah, I had been with another guy that had 2 kids and was divorced. My ex is also divorced. Just life happens sometimes. And no, his ex-wife is also not 20 years younger. They're the same age. So all these red flags that I must have seen, I didn't. Also, like I said, didn't know he was 45. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I am so mature for a 21-year-old and that's why I was going after. No, that's also just not what happened. What happened was I saw a guy. I found him attractive. I took action. He found me attractive. He took action. There wasn't this like love bombing manipulation thing that also people are accusing me of being a victim to. He sucks. He's a terrible person. He's treated me terrible, but it wasn't like this thing at first. I am not a baby. I am a grown up. We pretend like 20-year-old women are just like babies and they don't know what real life is. No, I knew, I was fully aware that I was dating someone older. I'm not saying like, oh, I'm so mature and that's why. No. But have you guys talked to a 22-year-old man? Have you guys done that? Because that fucking sucks. Like, that's torture. And, I got lots of comments and messages like, what did you even see in him at first? He's beautiful. Okay. Everybody that sees him does tell me he's beautiful, unfortunately. And nobody was really shocked coming from me. Like, I am a little bit of a unique person. Nobody was super shocked or stunned that I was with somebody older. My other previous guy I'd seen before was also a lot older. And I don't drink alcohol. I don't party. I don't really go out. And neither did my ex, my baby daddy. We didn't meet at a club. We didn't meet on like Hinge. He wasn't out prowling for like a younger girl. I messaged him. Like, I saw him. I messaged him. And he also thought I was older. Like, I am covered in tattoos. When he saw me at the beach and stuff, he thought I was like 30. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but the friends that we all had mutuals with and were connecting us, were all 30 to 35. So I think I assumed he was like 35 and I think he assumed I was like 30, 28. And we've been talking about that first. Yeah. And then turns out neither of us were what we assumed, but we liked each other. And I'm not gonna not date anybody because of their religion, race, skin color, stuff like that. And if I'm a consenting adult and he's not manipulating me or anything, I just don't think age matters too. Like, I think love is love, and as long as it is consensual and healthy, date whoever you want. Like, who am I to say that like you can't love a 22-year-old can't love a 45-year-old? I don't believe that, and I don't believe all 45-year-olds are bad. I don't believe every age gap relationship is bad either. Like, I just don't think that. I think I was with a shitty person that also didn't show me he was shitty at the beginning, because why would I be with him if I knew he was so shitty from the beginning?
So yeah, when everyone's like, oh, there's red flags, you're so blind, what did you not see? You could say that with every relationship that ends, but you don't see stuff and during it, people don't show their true colors until something serious happens. I was also lied to, and how am I supposed to know I'm being lied to until I figure out the lies? You know, it's like, yeah, there's like red flags, of course, him being older, but he could also do this if he was 25, and then people would just be like, oh, he's just a boy, he's just a kid, he needs to mature. Men don't mature until after women, you know. So it's always the girl's fault somehow, and just no one wants to make him take accountability for just being a piece of shit, like. But I'm used to that. And that's the same victim mentality that people had when I came out at 11 years old about my SA when I was 11. That happened between an adult. What was she wearing? What was she doing? Was she flirting with him? What? I was 11. Okay. So yeah, I'm used to that mentality. It's just like still so baffling. Like you're not gonna make men take accountability for anything. But anyway, I digress.
But okay, so like I said, my friend and I were all hanging out. She set us up. She told me to message him. I did. He took a few hours to respond. I think I was just like, oh, I've seen you around at some beaches, and my friend met you the other night. What's up? Like, that was it. And then we just like started talking, you know, like normal people, nothing crazy. And I haven't mentioned this, but he lives on Maui and lived on Maui. And this was very soon after the Maui Lahaina fires. And he was a fire victim. He lived in Lahaina and his house burnt down. The house he was living in did burn down. It wasn't his house. So that's why I would see him in Oahu so much, is because after the fires, he would come over and stay with his family and stuff. Like I said, my friend was dating his cousin, and he would like stay with them and stuff because the whole town was burnt down. Lahaina town was burnt down. And that is just like extremely tragic and caused like a lot of issues on its own between us. But because of that, I was also lied to about a lot of different things. So when I was messaging him, he tells me that he was like temporarily staying in a hotel, and then he also had this other house on a different part of the island, like North Shore, Maui area, that was really pretty, and oh, we should come, or I should come and like see him or whatever, and like we can explore the island for a day. Like that was it. Like I was gonna go over there for one day. And like before you say anything, I didn't even think I was gonna like stay the night. It's a 10-15 minute flight. I literally brought like a swimsuit. I didn't even bring like more clothes to stay. Like that was not in the plans for me. I just want to disclaim that before I get comments basically calling me names, because I know that's coming. But no, I just thought we were gonna go. He said we were gonna go on a hike that day, and we did. And then I stayed for 5. So I'm like, oh, like, okay, that seems like fun. And because I had known, like, you know, people that knew him, and if you guys don't know this, traveling inter-island is like the equivalent of like going, you know, across the island. Like it's not like a big deal. It's not like I was like, it's just not that big of a deal. So I was kind of like, oh, okay, like I guess I could go to Maui for a day. And so the day I messaged him, he bought me a ticket for the next day, because we were both very much like the kind of people that I wasn't going to keep just DMing this male on Instagram. I don't think he wanted to just keep DMing. Like we were just like, let's just meet each other is basically what we said. And he couldn't come back to Oahu for a little bit. I don't remember why, but he couldn't come back for a little bit. So I was like, yeah, that's fine. Like I can go to Maui. I'm a very spontaneous person. I'm going to get hate for that. Like how could you go to an island? Yeah. Okay. What if I told you it wasn't the first time? Like, guys, if you know me, this isn't a surprise. Like, I just like to do anything that is fun. And that was it. Okay. So, and I was getting very good vibes from him. So yeah, the next morning, we started messaging like literally at dinner time on like I think it was Saturday, or maybe a Sunday or something. I don't remember, Friday, I don't know. And then I flew over the next morning, and I actually, like, we just hit it off, like, really fast. Like, I wasn't expecting that, honestly. Like, I don't know what I was expecting. I don't think I was expecting anything. But we just really hit it off, and it wasn't anything like love at first sight or love bombing. Like, we just were, like, having really a lot of fun and good conversation, and we went to the beach, and we went surfing, and I ended up staying for a week because it was right before Christmas. And not right before, but like the week leading up to Christmas, basically, or 2 weeks leading up to Christmas. And I was supposed to go home to Kansas City to be with my family the next week, and I had taken off work to spend with like my friends. I was just working like part-time at the time, so I'd like only had like 1 or 2 shifts scheduled. So I was like, could someone cover my shifts? And like we went to Hana, we went to all these waterfalls, literally so much fun and nothing weird, because everything was so unique with him, like, not living and working, because also, like, work was also not a thing because of the fires. And this all seemed very, like, real, because this was a very big tragedy in Maui, and there wasn't any tourists. I'm not going to say his job because I heard I'm not allowed to say that, but, yeah, he didn't have any business. So, yeah, it made sense at the time. So I spent like 5 days, I think, with him there, and everything was just normal. Like, he was so sweet. We had so much fun. Yeah, that was it. Like, that was it. And I wouldn't say, like, after that, like, again, I'm just not an idiot. Like, I wasn't like, oh, in love, like, this is it. Like, I went home for Christmas, and I think I told, like, my mom about him. And I mean, I did really like him, but I wasn't like, oh, dead set on him or anything. Like, I had been with like an ex in the past. Like, the second we met, I was like, oh my god, this is the guy. That's not what I thought. Like, I was just like, yeah, it was cool, it was fun, but like, you saw how we met. Seems pretty good, right? So where did it all go wrong? And that, I don't know. Because, yeah, everything was totally fine. Like, we had a normal relationship leading up to me finding out I was pregnant. We found out together. Didn't think I was pregnant. We didn't have any, like, mess ups, you know? He's smiling. There wasn't a time that was like, oh no, what are we gonna do? Like, there wasn't, you know what I mean? Like, there wasn't anything like that. But I was 2 days late on my period, and I had been with him for like a month, like, straight. And I was used to living with girls, and you know how they say, like, cycle syncs up with your girls, and ours had. So when I was with him for a month, and this was months after we met, and started seeing each other. This is 6-7 months later. And yeah, we were like totally in love. Like, by that point, he was telling me he loved me. He was saying I was the first person he said that to since his ex-wife. And they had been divorced for like years. So it wasn't anything fresh. Yeah, I was 2-3 days late on my period. And I was like, let's just go get a test. So I'm not like stressing about it, making it more late. You know, like, genuinely did not think I was pregnant. And we go get a test. I wait the next day. I think we got it that night. I wait the next day. We go surf in the morning, and I'm like holding my pee, and we get to the surf spot, and I pee on the test on the side of the road, and was changing my wetsuit. Didn't really think much about it, assuming it was just positive, or just assuming it was negative, and then we'd look and go surf. It was positive, obviously. And I freaked out at first. He was pretty calm. Like, all things considered. I don't know how you're really supposed to react, especially just because it was really a shock. Like, it was really, like, something neither of us thought was even possible. I mean, at least me. He's more in control of that happening, so I don't know if he knew that he had done that. I don't know. But yeah, so I freak out. I go and like sit in his car alone and like just decompress. Sunny. And I call my mom,
I tell her what happened, and she's like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And I was like, I'm gonna go to Planned Parenthood. Like, I'm too young. I mean, I was 21. I wasn't like, a child, but I really liked him. I was in love with him, but I just didn't want to have kids right then. And she wasn't really into the idea of Planned Parenthood, but she was just like, your body, your choice, like, whatever. And then, like, later, obviously, like, we were all calling each other, like, my mom, like, he talked to my mom on the phone, I talked to her, I talked to him, like, we were all talking, and he said that he didn't want me to do that. I wasn't telling him, really, that I was gonna do that. I was just very quiet, and he was just saying, like, I don't want her to do that. He said that he had an ex-girlfriend, like, a long time ago that did that, and that's basically why they broke up. And that he thinks it would cause a lot of issues between me and him if I did that, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But I still made the appointment, and I made the appointment for Oahu. We were on Maui together, and I went back to Oahu alone. And so he was very against me, like, not having the baby, if that makes sense. And he told my mom that. He was telling my mom, I will provide for this child even if we don't stay together, because you don't know, even if you're married, like, you would like to think, but you don't know. And I was freaking out, obviously, and yeah, he was telling my mom, I'm gonna provide for this child, and he's a great dad to his other child, and there was no reason for me to think that he wouldn't be a good dad to my child. And also, my friends can vouch for this, he would tell me all the time he wanted more kids, he would get remarried, all these things, and I was the one that was like, okay, yeah, like, someday. And so yeah, at first he was stoked and super cool about it, and I mean, it was a lot to process, but it wasn't, I didn't find out I was pregnant, and he was saying that he wasn't going to be a part of it. That's not what happened at all. And like I said, I lied about my Planned Parenthood appointment, and I went on Oahu a couple days later. He didn't know about this till, like, way after. And then obviously I decided on my own that I couldn't do it. Like, it's a lot going to that, and I couldn't do it. Like, that was it. And at first, I know people said it was a red flag for him to not want to tell anybody. I didn't want to tell anybody at first either. I told my mom, that was it. And then a few days later, after my Planned Parenthood appointment, I told my best friend. And then, like, a week after that, I told my dad and my brother. And that was it. So yeah, I didn't want to tell anybody either at first because I was so confused and distraught and, like, not good mentally. So again, that wasn't a red flag, him not wanting to tell people at first, because I was the one that didn't want to tell people at first. It was later on, when I was 20 weeks pregnant, that he didn't want to tell anybody. When I was 20 weeks pregnant. How long was I supposed to keep that a secret for? 20 weeks is a long time to not tell anybody.
So after my Planned Parenthood appointment, I was even more confused because I was really set on doing that, and then I wasn't, and I decided to fly back to Kansas City to be with my family, but my family actually wasn't even home for like a week. They were like on vacation. So my best friend was in Kansas City. She also lives in Hawaii, but she's from Kansas City, and I came and stayed with her for like a week. And even when I was home, I was obviously not doing good, but he would call me, my baby daddy, and he would, like, I didn't even really want to talk to him just because I was so, like, not doing good mentally, but he was being really supportive and nice and kind, and like I said, we were dating, like, he was just being like a good boyfriend at the time. And he was even talking to my best friend. They were talking about baby names, they were talking about all sorts of things. So again, no red flag yet. So then when I went to go see him in Maui, because we were kind of long distance, like Oahu to Maui, it's not really long distance, but it's just like, obviously you're not together every day. So then I went back to Maui to be with him, And I mean, things were still like pretty normal. I was only like 7 weeks pregnant then. And after a few days of being together, we started to fight. And my hormones were so messed up, like obviously. And I also struggle with PTSD. If you're new here, because I've gotten a lot of new followers since my first video, I was SA'd as a kid, and I've struggled with like severe PTSD my whole life. So that's what I was explaining to him, was that we had talked about that and he knew that, but it wasn't like an issue. Like I wasn't dealing with it in the sense of like I was now like depressed again since we had been together. So then I was just really struggling mentally, and I told him about some of the things I dealt with, and he had a rough childhood too. And so honestly, no signs leading up to this where I thought he like would ever use my mental health against me. And then he did start to, and things just like really turned, and he was saying that he would never be with me, or he would have never been with me if he knew these things about me, which made no sense, because I'm like, you did know, and I knew things about you, and it was just so confusing. And we would just like fight, but it wasn't about anything. Like we weren't fighting about anything. Like he would just get mad, and I would get so emotional and cry and be like so upset and confused. Like I was so confused. And now, after talking to people that are very close to him in his life, I've learned that this is a pattern, and that he is just a fighter, and it's not about anything. Like it never has any basis. It doesn't make sense. So I don't know exactly when this started happening, but he began around like 8-9 weeks on. He began to say that I should have terminated Soul, and that he never wanted me to keep it, and that he never said he was going to be involved, and that I said I would provide, like that I would be okay with being a single mom, which I mean, I said that in the sense of like, we can't guarantee our future, so whatever. But up until this point, things were good, and there was never something that happened that, you know, made things go bad. People were saying, oh, he had another girlfriend, he was trying. Yeah, honestly, I don't think so. Like I really don't think so. Maybe, but I don't think that was the case. I think he just turned on me for whatever reason. But now learning that this is kind of a pattern for him, it makes me feel like way more validated, and like, okay, I'm not crazy, because I was almost gaslighting myself, like what did I miss? Like what did I miss? But no, I didn't miss anything, and he's just like this apparently. But yeah, he used my mental health against me. He would just, like I said, he would just fight and just be so mean, and I have like videos of it, and like voice memos and text messages. But I was still so patient with him, and was like, well, he's just in a state of shock, and this is a lot. And again, like he had gone through the Maui fires, and there was a lot of financial things. Like I knew he wasn't rich. I've never been a gold digger. I was not going after a 45-year-old man because, oh, I thought he could take care of me. I was totally down to split everything. Me still work, obviously, like help him with his other kid, who I, like I said, love so much, no matter what. Like just because he's my ex's son, or my ex does choose to have him in his life and not my baby, that doesn't make me love him less. Like that just doesn't change for me, and that even makes me more confused on why he doesn't love our son. That is his blood, because obviously his other son is not my blood. So he used my mental health against me. He would call me crazy. He was making me crazy. He was genuinely making me so insane, and he would do weird things. So in his condo that he was temporarily staying in after the fires, it was 2-bed, 2-bath, and both the bathrooms were connected to the bedroom. Well, one day we had gotten home like really late from the beach. We were at Hana, and so long drive from Hana to Lahaina, and we finally got home, and he like went to the bathroom, and his bedroom, like the main bedroom, and I went into the guest bedroom, which was like where his son would sleep, but his son wasn't with us, and I always used that bathroom. Like everybody always used this bathroom, and I go to use that bathroom because, again, I was pregnant, had to be so bad. I had just had like a 2.5 hour drive, and I come out of the bathroom, and he is literally screaming at me for using his son's bathroom, which it was his son's bathroom, but his son wasn't with us. I just had to pee. I was his pregnant girlfriend. He was in the other bathroom. I had used this bathroom a million times. He had like let everybody use this bathroom, and I just felt so bad. Like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. That's never been a thing. And I also I had to pee so bad. So that was something where like I was like, this is getting weird. Like, what is happening all of a sudden? Like, I don't understand. Those were the kind of fights like he would have with me, and it was making me insane because I'm like, what? I can't do anything right. I don't know what to do. So I feel like that was a turning point for me where I started feeling very weird, like, and confused. And I was even lying for him, like, to my friends and family because I didn't want him to seem bad, because I honestly thought we were going to work out because he kept telling me we were. And we did have such a good relationship before this, and I was just being really patient, like, okay, he just has to get through this. He was telling me he was going to go to therapy and we should go to therapy together. Like, it seemed like he was really working on things, and he did. Like, he did go to therapy, and he did kind of try to get us to go together. I was the one that actually had us go together, and I've always been in therapy. But then he didn't want to use my therapist because he said that she's on my side, and turns out he was totally manipulating his therapist, lying to her, all sorts of things. But he was always telling me, and until like 20 weeks, he was always telling me, no, even longer, until like 30 weeks, he was telling me that we would be together, that he would make this work. And I didn't even need that. I just wanted him to be a good father. Like, I didn't need to be with him as much as I loved him. I can understand that just sometimes you don't get what you want. But even with that being my mindset the whole time, he started to accuse me of trapping him. Like, when I turned 12 weeks, like, that's just when everything changed, and he would just go on these rampages and be so mean. And he claimed that I trapped him. I did this on purpose. Even though my attitude the whole time was, it's okay if we're not together. He has no money for me to trap him for. So yeah, things just started getting really bad. So yeah, obviously things were starting to get weird, and I was starting to not want to be with him, but still wanted to be with him because I'm having his child, and things were so good for so long, and then not acting like it's a long time, but like the majority of our relationship was good, and then it was just starting to be bad, and he was telling me it was stress from this unexpectedly. Okay, makes sense, same. And then he started to talk about his ex-wife a lot, and that was something that I just never really brought up too much because it's not my business, and there's two sides to every story, and they definitely didn't have any kind of like relationship or anything, that you hear about, like, oh, it's always something there. Like, it definitely wasn't anything like that. And it was in the past. They had been divorced for a long time, and it was just something I didn't want to hear about. And I don't like talking about my ex-boyfriends. I didn't want to hear about his ex-boyfriend, ex-wife. It just seemed like it didn't matter. And honestly, he never was one to really bring her up in like a negative way, because I do think that is a red flag. And so all throughout our relationship before this, he was never like just talking, crap about her. Like, not really. He, of course, had his side of the story, and I was in love and believed him, and now I can see through that. But yeah, I also spent so much time with his other son, and I love him, like I've made very clear. And I don't want to hear bad things about his mom either. But yeah, so he started to tell me, this is about maybe like 12 to my 20 weeks, like during that time. That 2 months is when things started to get really weird, and he started to tell me all these different stories
with him and his ex-wife, and how she was so mean and things got really bad when she was pregnant, and that's what he was scared about happening with me. But I would just explain to him, like, well, we're two different people, like, it hasn't happened yet. Like, obviously things are stressful, and like, again, with the him being a fire victim of the Lahaina fires, the housing was temporary and the money was tight because there was not a lot of tourists there. So, but everything seemed very reasonable. He also told me he lost like so much money in the fire, like in a safe. I don't think that was true. He also told me he paid for his like split. His ex-wife owned a house. He told me that they like split it. Not true. Like, he hasn't told me that that's not true, but pretty sure it's not true from what I've learned. And again, I don't know why he told me that and lied to me. I don't know. He would also tell me the number that he like used to make per month when like things are normal in Maui, and it's the number that he told me was very, very reasonable to live off of. So I was kind of like, okay, well, once things go back to normal, and like that's what he was trying to do, like trying to like reassure me, I guess, that once things go back to normal, oh, like, we'll be good. And he was also claiming to be like a provider man and telling my parents like, oh, he will provide for me, and he would tell me like, oh, you know, I don't want you to have to work eventually, all these things. I'm like, yeah, I mean, okay, like, but again, that was not my motive in being with him, obviously, because that's just not what happened, and that's not how things were, and whatever. But so I did the blood test to get the gender results, and my doctor didn't like ever get back to me. Like, it took them so long. I think it's only supposed to take like a week or two, and they took like over a month almost, I think. So when they told me, I was on Oahu when they told me the gender, because I just like answered the phone call. I didn't do like a whole big thing. And so he didn't want to know, and he said he wanted to wait in person. Okay, well then I went to Maui, and he didn't want to know, and we would fight about that because it just broke my heart that he didn't want to know the gender, and his reasonings was that it was going to be too real. And now I am almost halfway pregnant, or halfway done with my pregnancy, I guess. So this is when things started to get really bad. So when I told him it was a boy, because we got into this big fight, like literally on the road to Hana, how scary. I was like begging him to let me tell him the gender, and he was just being so mean, yelling at me. And finally I'm like, okay, well, I'm telling you. And I told him it's a boy, and he did seem disappointed, which didn't make sense because he said he would be disappointed if it was a girl. So, which again, like, so stupid, right? So he got disappointed that it was a boy, and he told me that, oh, well, things definitely aren't going to work out between us now because it's a boy. And I was like, well, what? Like, what does that even mean? Why would that change our relationship? And yeah, he didn't really have an explanation on why, but that's just what he said. So obviously I was really sad about that. And it just feels so embarrassing, like, that I did put up with this. I don't think I put up with it for very long, like literally only a couple months, but I just felt like I had no other option because I'm like growing this man's child, and I don't know, you always think like they could change, and they're telling you that they're gonna change, but I am proud of myself for like sticking to my guns and like not trying to be with him after it's obvious that it's not going to work. There's more to this story. This is just a lot for me, so I don't really like thinking about it or really living it. I'm kind of just like a more of a let's forget about it type person. So yeah, I just don't want to miss anything, and I don't want to be like over dramatic or anything, but it was very dramatic to me when it was happening, especially like with my hormones. When I'm explaining it, it doesn't seem like as intense as it was when this all was happening. So this is the one really big thing that I can say was like a red flag, but I was too in love with him to like care. Okay, so one time I went to work with him, and his work is in the water, okay?
And we were at this very popular beach, and he said that he was gonna have to be in the water for like 5-6 hours, which that wasn't abnormal. Like, that happened. So I was really like cool with that. Like, we did that a lot. I had a book, I was doing yoga, vibing, all good. Well, while I was at this said beach, his uncle and his friend, a girl that was like living with him at the time from Brazil, both Brazilian, sweetest girl ever, and super cool uncle of his. And yeah, like real uncle, like blood uncle. So they saw me at the beach and they were like, hey, we're gonna go to Hana. So this beach was like close to Hana. I don't want to say exactly what beach it is, like not really any reason why, but just don't want to. They're like, we're gonna go to Hana, like, want to come with us? And they're like, is said baby daddy gonna be in the water for a long time? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, sounds like he'll be like in the water for a long time. Like, they know the routine too, so cool, peace. So I was just stoked to get to hang out with them because I really like them. I think they're super amazing people, and they are still. And in Hana, and even at this beach, there's no service. So, and also he's in the water, like far out in the water. So I can't just be like, hey, I'm leaving. And I also can't text him because there's no service. So I go to his car to like get some of my stuff, and like there's no paper or anything to like leave a note. But like I said, I had just pretty much gotten there, like we had just gotten there, and he was planning to be in the water for a long time. So there was this like specific hike that me and my ex had gone on in Hana that I wanted to show them because I really loved it, and his uncle doesn't get to go to Maui a lot, and his uncle's friend, the girl, but this was her first time in Maui, and she had to go back to Brazil soon, and she wasn't going to be able to come for a long time, and like I knew a spot, you know. So we go to the spot, and okay, Maui, Hawaii, but especially Hana is magical, and I cannot explain it, but it is literally magic. Okay. And we go, and they had this van because they were camping in this van. That's like one of my favorite memories like ever. But they had this like van that they were camping out of. We were just like driving the road to Hana. We stop, and we go on this hike, and it's not long. It's not too long, but there's like all these different waterfalls, obviously. And me and all of us, we were all alone there together, and the girl goes off kind of like in the same pool as us, but it's a really big waterfall pool, and she goes off and kind of does her own yoga thing. She's, I think, a yoga instructor, but she's doing her own yoga thing. And then his uncle, who we'll call him Monkey, me and Monkey start talking, just like how you have like those magical conversations sometimes, and we just get so deep in conversation. And I had already known him, we had already like gotten along really well, but we just like felt like we were talking on like a soul level. And Monkey starts telling me like, Daisy, I think you're too good for my ex, his nephew. And like, people don't say that about their family members. And this was nothing weird, like, oh, he was trying to go with me. No, it was nothing like that. It was literally like our souls were talking to each other, and he was just telling me like, I think you're way too good. Like, basically run is what he told me. And I was like, no, Monkey, like, you don't understand. Like, I love him. And he's like, mm-hmm. And I even asked him, I was like, well, why are you telling me that? Like, is there somebody else? Like, do you know something I don't know? And he's like, no, I don't. But I just think you're too good for him. So I was just like, you don't know what you're talking about. And Monkey is one of the best people I have ever met in my life. Everybody says that. He's very well known on Oahu. And I don't think a single person that has ever met him would say anything bad about him, honestly. Just one of those people that is like literally sunshine. Well, to wrap it up, we go back, and we don't have service. Like, we're driving the whole time, and we took maybe 2.5 hours. So not even the whole 4 hours. So my ex should still technically be in the water working, because he did kind of work. So, when we get back and we finally get service, because it was a little bit of drive, maybe 30-45 minutes till we got service, and my phone had some text, but I still couldn't like make out outward calls to him. Like they weren't working. And I had a couple texts and they just said, where were you? Where did you go? No big deal. So then he starts blowing up my phone though. And then Monkey calls him and he's like, hey, because like I said, I can't make the call, like it's not working. And he's like, hey, like we have Daisy, like we just went to Hana, like no big deal. Do you know what my ex did? He drove back. So we are on one side of the island. He drove back to where he stays, where he lives, the complete other side of the island. And yeah, I know maybe I shouldn't have gone, but we were not gone for that long. He had only gotten done with his lesson, like, oops, okay, ignore what I just said, with his work, not that long prior to have already gone, like made up his mind. What if I was kidnapped? What if I had drowned? What if like something really bad happened? He didn't know that his uncle and his the girl came and got me and I was with him. He did not know that. So really anything could have happened, but he decided that he was so mad at me. He left, drove to the other side of the island, did not wait up for me at the beach, was not concerned, was only mad at me. So he starts yelling in Portuguese back and forth with his uncle, with the girl, and I'm like, I mean, I can tell what he's saying. Like, I can understand. And I'm like, oh no, this is not good. This is not good. But like, just to kind of play dumb, I was like asking the girl, I was like, what is he saying? And she's like, nothing. And I'm like, no, like, tell me. And she's like, no, like, he's not even making sense. It makes no sense why he would leave you. They were just as confused as I was. And they were supposed to be staying, like, camping on this side of the island that we were on, like, Hana side. And he was like, my ex was like, take Daisy to the airport. I'm like, what? I can't go to the airport. The airport's in the middle of the island. I have to go get my stuff at his house on the other side of the island. He doesn't want to see me. Like, this is just so crazy. He was so mad, yelling. He wouldn't text me back after I was like, hey, I'm so sorry. I just did not think this was that big of a deal. You were supposed to be in the water for like 2+ more hours. Like, you know, like, what if something had happened to me? I was so mad. So they are angels, took me back to his house, thank God. And we all hung out, but he still would not talk to me while we were all together. And I was kind of thinking like, okay, well, maybe I'll just leave. But it was late. Like, I couldn't have left by that point. I wasn't late, but there was no way I could go back to the airport. He said he would not take me to the airport by the time I got to his house. And by the end of the day, like his uncle and the girl had left, like, we were good, but only because I was literally like sucking up to him and being so sweet. And I know I shouldn't have left, but I really wanted to go to Hana. It wasn't that big of a deal. He was supposed to be in the water for hours and hours longer, and the way he reacted was so mean and so dramatic and so crazy. I just couldn't believe it. Like, I honestly couldn't believe it. And like I said, he would have only had to wait like 30 more minutes for us to get back, or at least like respond to him. And he was not even freaking out like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Are you okay? Like, no, he was only mad at me and said I embarrassed him at the beach, that I embarrassed him in front of his uncle and the girl, that he was like looking for me at the beach, clearly not for that long, and that people were probably like confused on what he was doing, like only cared about how he looked. And I'm like, but what if I had drowned? Like, what if anything? There was no sign of me there. And I genuinely was not trying to do anything wrong.
It was not my intention to have a baby with a broke, grown, 45-year-old man. But I did. So here's the lies that he told me at the beginning of our relationship to make me think he was someone he wasn't, because that's what men do, men lie. Like I said, when we first met, it was right after the Lahaina fires. Nobody ever remembers this. It's a really big tragedy that happened, and it is real, and it's still affecting him out. But he was a Lahaina fire victim. That is true. So we met after that. That's actually why we met, basically, is the Lahaina fires. He was in Oahu, blah, blah, blah. Go watch the story time. So our first time meeting, he told me he had a house there. I assumed it was a small house because I don't know if you guys have looked at real estate in Lahaina. It's crazy. So I assumed he had a very small house, and I kind of was under the impression that he owned it at first, and then I gathered that he rented it. Fine. That's fine. I don't care. I'm also just not a gold digger. Nothing wrong with gold diggers. Smarter than me, obviously. Everybody's made that clear. Smarter than me. It's just not in me to do that. Like, I've never cared. I am starting to care a little bit more now, but I wasn't looking for anything serious. I didn't need the gold. And I had fun and I liked him, and it was just genuine, pure, like. So he told me he had this house, blah, blah, burned down. So that's why he was living at first in a hotel and then in temporary housing from FEMA. And okay, like, down on his luck. Maybe, find love in a hopeless place. I don't know, okay, guys? That's what I was thinking. I'm a good person. Jesus. Well, his job is a job that you need tourists to work for. I've been told I can't say what his job is. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I can say it, but he works in the water. It's not that hard to figure out. It's a tourist attraction, and yeah, there's no tourists in Maui because Lahaina burned down. So it made sense. So when we first met and he wasn't working that much and it was all play, all fun, no work, it made sense. Like that, it added up, okay? He also has been married before, and he told me that they owned a house together. He told me that he paid half for the house, but he is from a different country. He's from Brazil, and he obviously, like, when he got married, that's when he got his citizenship, but when they first moved in together, he wasn't a citizen yet, and he told me that he paid half for the house. How was I supposed to know that that wasn't true? How would I know that until after the fact? Am I supposed to call up his ex-wife, who he was telling me lies about, and ask her if he paid half for their house together? No, I just believed a 45-year-old man had enough to pay half for a house. And he said that it was like cash and stuff that he paid because, like all the legal tax, all those things. Sorry, believed it. I don't know. He also told me that he had so much money in the house that burned down. I don't know if that's true. Doesn't matter because it's gone. I don't believe it, but doesn't matter either way. It's gone. Like I said, thought this man was just down on his luck. He also told me that he had full custody of his son before the fires. Like, he said, like, the agreement wasn't really like a whole thing, that they were really, chill, and that he had full custody of his son before the fires. Again, I don't know if that's true because I met him after the fires, and he's a liar. So, don't know. But now, no, I don't believe it. Obviously, I don't believe that. And yes, he was a good dad to his son, his other son. Still wouldn't be my fault if I had a baby with him and he wasn't a good dad, but that wasn't a red flag. That, like, I was with him and his son all the time. I love his kid. Like, literally, like, my bestie, okay? So no, there was no red flag of him being a terrible dad already. I don't know why he's a bad dad to Sonny. I don't know. Ask him. He also told me, like, what his previous income was before the fires. Again, before I knew him. And it was a lot of money. A lot of money. And it made sense. But I don't believe it. It made sense because I don't know what the average income is of his job, but the way he explained it to me and how it happened, without saying his job, yeah, it made sense that, like, yeah, okay, adds up. I mean, I'm not saying he was a millionaire, but yeah. Okay, and then throughout our relationship, like, already super pregnant, all these things started coming to the surface, like, things happen in relationships. Like, that's what happens. One of them being during COVID, he moved to California to live with his family that I had met. That was, like, his dad's friend from Brazil. And then they lived in California. He had to go move in with them because he had no money. Well, I didn't know that until I was, like, 16, 18 weeks pregnant by this point, okay? Obviously, that would be a red flag, but it was too late. And again, I don't care about the money. It's just as if you can go make money, like, when times are tough, like, okay, cool. Like, I don't need, a accountant with it. Like, I don't know. If you know me, it makes sense. I just thought he had the ability to go make money for us. And also, this man claimed up until halfway through my pregnancy that he would provide, that he would take care of me, that he didn't want me to work, that that's not what he believed in. He wanted to have a stay-at-home mom and like wife, mother of his children, and raise his kids. So I believed him. He made it sound like that's what he did with his ex-wife too. Lies. Okay? So men lie. And I didn't find out these lies until way later. I didn't purposely go after a broke man. This man was living in Maui. Obviously, the Lahaina fires happened. That literally just covered his butt with me, because if I maybe would have seen his lifestyle before the fires when he had no excuse, then yeah, of course it would be red flags. But that's not how me or like my friends who knew him or my parents like took things, because we were being like giving him so much grace and patience and everything. And I'm not going to be someone that judges. Now I'm going to judge a little bit more. I'm going to judge men a little bit harder this time. But yeah, sorry, I'm just a trusting person. He also says he pays child support for his other kid. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. And I don't want to go after him for child support because, one, I don't think I can afford that. Two, it's just going to be more heartache for me and like my family to like talk to him, deal with him. It could possibly give him rights. I know, maybe it doesn't, but it could. And I don't want him to be able to say he does anything for our child who he has done nothing for, doesn't want to do anything for. I'm not going to force him to do that because he doesn't want to. My baby doesn't deserve to be around somebody that doesn't want it. Like he deserves way better than that. I don't need his $100 a month. Like, no.
Everybody is dying to see what my broke 45-year-old ex-baby daddy looks like. And I guess I'll give you guys what you want, but first you have to listen to another story. So this was actually the last time I was physically with him in person. So it was October. There's this pizza place I really like around Lahaina, and it doesn't even necessarily have like amazing pizza. It's just fun and cute and good. And they have like karaoke there and stuff, so we go to it sometimes. Well, it's fucking pizza. Even in Lahaina, it's not that expensive, okay? So one night, everything was fine. I was like, hey, like, let's go get pizza. They were open till really late. Like, it was kind of like a bar type thing too. I was like, let's go to this place. I don't know if I can say the name. I'm sure I can. I don't know why I'm like that. But, let's go. And he was kind of like, no. I was like, yeah, like, let's go. And guys, we had fun together. We got along when we weren't fighting, like it's not like I was just like being beat and like lied to and like spit on the whole time. Like, we had fun. Like, he literally was like my best friend. So we went to this pizza place. It was probably like 10 or so, and everything was normal and fine. We walk in and you like order at the counter. So we got the same thing every time. I got half Hawaiian and he got half like the thing with everything like that men always get. So he's talking to the like cashier, right? And if you don't know, Hawaii has like a big Argentinian population and a big Brazilian population. So my ex, he spoke Portuguese, English, Spanish. So he could tell that this like lady was Argentinian, and they start talking in Spanish, and I'm like, what? Because like I said, like I don't speak Portuguese or Spanish, but I do understand like what is going on. Like, I've been around it and heard it so much, like I know what he's saying. So it's kind of like, what are you doing? What is going on? And no, he was not flirting with her. It was like an older lady. Not that he wouldn't flirt with her, he's old, but so I'm like, what? And I'm like, talking English, and I tell him that, and he starts saying it, and he's like, okay, I saw this video and they did it to me like last week when I like wasn't with him and he got pizza. And I'm like, you got pizza last week like without me? Like, first of all, weird, because it is just weird for him. Like, why would he? I don't know. It was just like a weird thing for him to do. Like, we're kind of like health nuts, and the thought of him like getting a whole pizza on his own, I was like, why? First of all, that was just weird to me. So he starts telling me that he saw this video on Instagram where basically, it's gonna be confusing, but it was a prank. Someone cut, so there's a pizza, right? A whole pizza. You can cut like a slice of it out and then like take it out, and then it looks like a whole pizza. Does that make sense? Okay, so he's like, the pizza's supposed to have this many slices, but it had one less, and I think that they took a piece out and slit it. So he was saying that he got scammed by this pizza place, and the lady was so confused. I was so confused. He did not tell me this
before, I was so confused. And I was like, why are you even telling her that? If that did happen, why are you even telling her this? This is like not even gonna make sense. It's so weird. So the lady is like, okay, I'll give you guys a free pizza. And I'm just looking at him like, what the fuck? And because I know I'm getting a bunch of comments like, don't ever let him pay, like make you pay for dinner and stuff. And like the thing is, we didn't really go to dinner that much. Like we would go to this pizza place. I'm not a dinner girl. Like I like to surf, I like to go on hikes, I like to be in the water, I like to just like have fun, and that's what we did. So in my head, I just thought he understood me so well. And it was a problem with my exes and stuff in the past. Like I wouldn't appreciate fancy dinners. I just didn't want to do that. That wasn't my vibe. So it was harder for me to catch up on the red flags because we weren't going out. And like of course he would buy like the grocery food, and he's also like he would cook everything for us, which was really fun. And like I liked that more than going out to eat with like seed oils and all that bullshit. So no, like I didn't pick up on that because we never were going out to eat, and he would buy the pizza every time we would go, and he would buy us like all this stuff, you know, when we would be out. So it really wasn't like glaring in my face. And he did buy me, like, I love like jewelry, like seashell jewelry, not super expensive. He would buy me that stuff, and he would like pick me flowers. So there were like, we were like, it wasn't right in my face. Like I wasn't on our first date like buying us meals or anything like that. Okay, it started at his birthday, and then I started like there's also one more time we got invited by our friends to go to this like really nice place that's popular. It's at the Whalers, and they had like a prime, I think it was prime ribbon lobster night, which if you know me, those are my two favorite foods. So he was like, let's go, like you know, those are your two favorite foods. And like a lot of times he would make that stuff for me. So like again, I was like, okay, yeah, like that's so fun. And like I loved these people we were going with. And this was right before the pizza thing. I think this was in my same trip over there. So like things were clicking, right? So we go over there, and on our way there, we were like riding in the back of his truck, like the bed of his truck, not my ex's truck, but like our friends and with his girlfriend, just because like people do that in Hawaii, it's fun. And it was like a short drive, whatever. So we were riding in the back of his truck, and he's like, oh my God, I totally forgot my wallet, babe. And I was like, okay. And this was before the pizza thing. So I was like, all right, I have my wallet. The meal was like $200. He ordered like drinks and stuff too. Yeah, so again, it was like this trip that things were clicking. So fast forward again to the pizza place. A couple days later, we get our free pizza, and I was like kind of weirded out by it, but I didn't want to call him out. I didn't want to make him feel bad. Maybe he genuinely did think that they did that and he deserved a free pizza. I don't know. And then he tells me, while we're eating, he's like, I'm gonna go fishing in the morning. And I was like, can I come? Like, and he was telling me he was going with his friend that again, we both really liked, and he has a boat, all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, can I come? And he's like, no, you'll get seasick. And I'm like, no, I won't. I don't get seasick. And I worked on a boat. I love to go out fishing. Like I've gone out with his family, like fishing and stuff on their boats and everything. And like, yeah, that's not a thing. I don't get seasick. He gets seasick. And so I was like, what? I won't get seasick. And he's like, we have to go really early in the morning. I'm like, yeah, like I got up at like 5 or 6 a.m. every day. So weird. And he's like, no, just let me go. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, it'll only be for like an hour or two. No. Do you know when he got back that day? So he left at like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. You know, like you go for like sunrise basically. And before you guys say, oh, he's cheating on you, he has a wife. No, he was actually fishing, okay? So like he brought back fish, like, yeah. But he left. I had morning sickness. Again, I was like 4 or 5 months pregnant by this point. I had morning sickness, and like that, I think that morning I just like woke up like mad and upset, and like he was leaving. I'm like, I feel really sick. Like, can you please just stay? And he's like, I can if you want. Like I could tell he didn't want to. And he left. He said he was going to be gone for like 2 hours. I knew that wasn't going to be the case, but do you know what time he came back? Sunset. He was gone for so long. So disgusting. So yeah, before you say, oh, you shouldn't be with him, you should have higher standards for yourself. I did. I left. Like I'm not with him. I don't want to be with him. I will never be with him. But I'm not just gonna like leave 5 months pregnant at like the first sign of like something weird, you know. Like I did leave, guys, and it really didn't even get to as bad as I hear a lot of other things, other relationships do. And I still don't blame the woman. So stop saying like, you should have left, you should have known. I did leave. I have never talked to him since. Okay, Here it is. I will finally show you guys pictures of us. I will. This is him. I know, I can do better. Yikes. Embarrassing. But I look cute, right? Right? I was just going for love and the vibes, not anything else. Here we are again. I don't know. I can't believe I'm putting this on the internet. I didn't even post pictures when we were good, just because I'm very private about my relationships, and this is probably the only time you guys are going to hear this until you read my book someday. He is not tall. I'm 4'11", so I don't know how tall he is. I feel like he doesn't look 45. I don't know. Yes, I know I can do better. I will do better in the future. And maybe ask for an ID when I meet people from now on. But yeah, maybe some references too, like, okay, you have an ex-wife, let me talk to her, you know, let me talk to your mom. Because if I would have done those things, I would not be tied to him, but I didn't. And I just trusted what he said and was blind. But I can only go up from here, right? Right.
So obviously things were getting weird. We started fighting a lot. We just started fighting a lot, and it was never really about anything specifically. Like, we weren't, I don't know how to explain it. Like, he would just start these fights out of nowhere, and it made no sense. Turns out that's a pattern of his. I found out by people very extremely close to him that know him very well, and he just did that. And during all of this, where he was just fighting with me, and I'm talking about like fighting, guys, like out of nowhere, he would just start, and then I would get really emotional, cry, be arguing with him. No one ever, like, you know, touched each other or anything like that, but he would like call my parents to try to get them to side with him, like try to make me sound crazy, and like he would even like threaten calling my parents. Like, it was so weird. It was so weird. I'm like, call them, like, you're the one being crazy. But because I was like crying and so upset and so confused, like, and obviously I was so pregnant, that they were like, what is happening? I'm like, I don't know. Well, then he starts saying, like, on the phone with my mom, this happened a couple times. He was like, she needs to go back to Oahu. Like, I'm taking her to a hotel, but because like it was too late to like get a flight. And, yeah, he would call my mom, tell her that he's dropping off at a hotel. He wasn't going to pay for it. Like, he told her, like, he's not going to pay for it. He started accusing me of trapping him with the baby and saying that I had planned this the whole time. He just switched immediately. It was so weird. Like I said, nothing happened. He told my parents I trapped him. I planned this. I did it on purpose. But then what really, like, sealed the deal for me is he started saying that Sunny wasn't his. So he started saying, there was at one point I was 18 weeks, but I thought I was 20 weeks, because I don't know if you've ever been pregnant or not. You just kind of like forget, and like you mess up and like, oh my God, I'm sorry. So he was saying that because I said I was 20 weeks, and I really thought I was 20 weeks, I was just wrong. But if I was 20 weeks, then he wouldn't be the dad, because he was like in Mexico during like that time, and that I cheated on him when he was in Mexico. Never happened. I've never cheated on anybody. I'm a Scorpio Venus. Are you kidding me? I don't think I could cheat even if I had a gun to my head. Like, I'm a lot of things. I'm dramatic. I'm a lot of things, but I'm not a cheater. And yeah, I just messed up the date, like the weeks or whatever. So then he told me that it's not his kid. We would argue about that all the time. He also told me he hoped I miscarried. This was when we were still together. Like, we were still together during all of this. And then my parents convinced me to come back to Kansas City. I obviously really didn't want to. They convinced me to come back. And I was looking at apartments in Kansas City because I didn't want to move back in with my parents after not living with them for so long, all of those type of things, you know. And I found one that I really liked, and then I told him about it. I'm like, yeah, like, I'll have this apartment, you can come, because we were still together, you can come like a month before the baby's here, and we can like be together, and then like be here after, and then, you know, we can figure out what we're gonna do, because also his temporary housing from the fire was about to be up around the same time as my due date. So I was like, just end it earlier, like he doesn't have anything, it all burned down in the fires, you know. So I was like, just, you know, rent out your cars, and you don't have much things, like just put it in a storage unit. He had a storage unit and whatever. Well, that was all cool. And then he tells me, okay, so when I'm looking for at the apartment, I pick one, he convinces me not to get it for whatever reason, which I was really shocked, but because he said, no, I want you to come back to Maui, like just live at your parents and then come back to Maui like a month after Sunny's born, because we were still together, he was still acting like we'd be together, even though we were fighting and stuff a lot. But it was just in person, like we make up so fast. So yeah, we'd have these crazy blow up fights for like an hour or two, and then an hour later we'd be surfing, an hour later we'd be jet skiing, like it, you know. So I just thought I was hormonal. I thought he was going through it. I was giving him so much grace. But then when things get bad, really bad, is I am 21 or 20 weeks pregnant, and I'm telling him, like, I'm halfway through my pregnancy. You need to tell your family, you need to tell your son, you need to tell your friends. Like, I can't keep this a secret anymore. Like, I wasn't really showing, but I was showing for me. Like, I am 4'11" and like a little over 100 pounds. Like, you could kind of tell. And people were asking and stuff, like, what's going on? And I was just being a weirdo. So I posted on Instagram just a picture of me. The picture's still up, obviously. Just a picture of me with my bump, and didn't tag him, didn't associate him at all with it. Yeah, he was so mad at me, he broke up with me because I posted that picture, because I posted that I was pregnant. That's it. So he broke up with me, blocked me on everything. Also, before this, I was at home in Kansas City for like a week or so. He didn't talk to me for a week. I didn't text him because I was just like giving him space, because he said sometimes he needs space. So I was like, I was probably the last person to text him, but I wasn't like blowing up his phone. He didn't text me for a week, and I was like starting to spiral, obviously, because why are you not texting me, your pregnant girlfriend? So I finally text him, and I'm like, are you good? Are we good? Like, this isn't normal. And again, since he was older, I would just be like, maybe he just doesn't text that much, I don't know. And he was like, yeah, I just need like, I don't know, he had some fucking excuse. So then that around that time is when I posted the picture. He broke up with me, kind of. I mean, he didn't like explicitly say he break up, like we're broken up, but I took it as, when you block me on Instagram, we're broken up, and you're mad at me. So I took it as a breakup. Well, that was the beginning of October. My birthday's beginning of November. So about a month later, I wasn't talking to him during that whole month because he blocked me. And I'm not, like, he was trying to talk to me after like a few days of that and reach out to me. He started calling my parents. He started calling my friends. And to some of my friends, he was literally sounding like he was sewer idol, like, you know what I mean, like he didn't want to be here anymore. That's how they described it to me. I don't know what he was like doing. I don't know why he was being so dramatic when he caused this. So he was trying to make me feel bad, I think, trying to paint me as a bad guy too. And I'm like, no, he blocked me, like he's not telling you guys the full story. And I wasn't telling my friends any of this stuff because it was just so much drama, and it was so stupid, and I couldn't deal with it mentally. So not around my birthday, on my birthday, he sends me another long text. So he unblocked me, obviously. He keeps trying to contact me. He sent me like this really long, sweet text. He sent me a beautiful bouquet of flowers, all my favorite colors, like pink, oranges, my favorite flowers. He sent me like a teddy bear. He sent me like all of these candies and stuff. All sorts of things. So he's like kind of doing that thing. I don't know if it's love bombing, but whatever. He's trying to make up for it. So I'm like, okay. But I wasn't like, oh, perfect, like we're good. Like, no, I was still like ignoring his calls. I wasn't really doing much, you know. And for the next month, he is really amazing. Like, I guess, like, we talked multiple times a day, every day. We were good. Well, then December rolls around, first week of December. So that was like a month. first week of December rolls around. I click on his Instagram because he would DM me on my hair account now. I clicked on his Instagram, and that's how I would see his stuff because it was just so weird. He had a Threads in his bio, like the Threads @ and I was like, that's weird. He's not ever on Threads. Well, I click on it, and he commented, and I guess like the comments linked to Threads, and he commented fire emoji on a OnlyFans girl's account. So I texted him. I said, never talk to me again. We are done. He commented a simple like fire emoji or something. I don't know. I still have the screenshot. But yeah, I texted him. He, of course, told me that that wasn't him. Someone hacked his account. He would never do that. Then I was like, are you serious? And then he said, oh, he was drunk. And I was like, hey, well, you don't drink. So what? Are you drinking now and not telling me and commenting on OnlyFans girls? She wasn't even cute. No shame to her, but like she wasn't even cute, okay? And also, you have a 21-year-old girlfriend. Like, what more do you want? And I don't know. I don't think he like cheated or anything like that. But he was testing the waters, and I think he thought because I was pregnant, I would just be like fine or not find out. I don't know, but yeah. So I told him if he ever did anything like this, even just comment or like a girl's Instagram picture, I would break up with him, and I don't care if that's dramatic. I would, and I did. So I said, never talk to me again. He thought I was stupid, thinking he was drunk or his friend did all these different lies. So now he's a liar. And no, then of course he tries to make up for it, and he's trying to like win me back and like not let this happen. Well, I answer his phone call the next day. I was getting my hair done by my mom. He doesn't know this, but she was there and heard everything. And yeah, he said I basically have the Instagram of an OnlyFans girl, and that people would think that I am an OnlyFans girl. Again, no hate to OnlyFans girls, but I just, that's like just not true. And so I started asking him. I had a really like expensive medical bill, and I started asking him like, okay, can you just send me money like on Venmo for half of it, because he told me this whole time, oh, he's gonna provide, he's gonna do all these things. Hadn't seen $1 from him. He hasn't bought anything at this point. This is December. I had Sunny in February. This is exactly 2 months before his birthday. So he hasn't paid for anything. So I was like, can you just Venmo me some money? Like, I'm not dealing with this right now. He accused me of that I was going to steal money from his bank account. There is no money to steal from his bank account, so wouldn't do that. Just wanted him to help me pay for this medical bill, or anything for his son, like anything. He has still to this day not paid for a cent of anything that Sunny owns, any of the medical bills, anything. So in the same conversation, he accuses me again of cheating on him, and he even says the name of who he thinks this Sunny's father is. It's not. It's 100% him. I've sent him paternity test after he started accusing me of these things. He refuses to take it. If there was any chance that Sunny wasn't his child, do you think I would want to pursue that? Maybe, because this person sucks so bad. It makes no sense. It makes no sense, and it's so insulting to me that I don't know if he really has convinced himself of this. And also Sunny looks just like him, honestly. Like, he looks just like his other kid. So yeah, I don't know. But the second he started really saying that he doesn't think Sunny is his, I said okay. And he said, he's not the dad, I don't want to be involved. All on this fight after the OnlyFans girl. And that I was trying to steal money from him by asking him to Venmo me, and he was like laughing at me. Like, I have like a proof that this happened. But he was laughing at me saying, oh, you think I'm so stupid? You think I'm so stupid that I'm going to give you my Venmo to... No, I wouldn't be stealing money from you. But okay. So after that, we fought. That was it. He blocked me, and we have not spoken since. He has not tried to contact my parents. He's not contacted any of my friends. And he has not unblocked me and messaged me. He has not asked for a photo of his son. He has not, he doesn't know his real birthday. I mean, he obviously probably knows all these things from, I don't know, Instagram, TikTok, or whatever. But no, he just doesn't care. He doesn't act like it's real. His friends have contacted me, and I've told them the truth. He's telling them lies. He's telling all sorts of lies, that he told me that to take a plan B and I didn't, or he got it from me and I didn't take it. That's one of his lies. That
then that would mean you're the father. But no, that never happened. No, that just never happened. He told me he told other people, and then they told me, he told me to get an abortion. That didn't happen until I was 20 weeks pregnant. Then he said he wishes I had gotten an abortion. That's crazy to say. That's crazy to say about your half baby in my stomach to your pregnant girlfriend, but okay. So he knows the kid is his, that my kid is his. But yeah, I guess he's telling people that it's not, and I guess I'm just some crazy person that tried to trap him, even though why would I be trapping him? Like, for what exactly? So yeah, and this whole time too, even when we weren't together, I was like, I don't need to be with you. I love you. I'm in love with you. I think we are very compatible before all this, but I'm not gonna force this. And then he would almost gaslight himself, saying that I was forcing this. I'm like, how many times have I told you I don't need to be with you if that's not what you want? And he's like, no, you do. And I'm like, but I don't though. So then I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna have to remove myself completely. And I did, and haven't heard from him since. And I hope to never hear from him. I would never want to ever speak to him, see him, be in the same room with him. Since he says Sunny is not his kid, he is not his kid. He is not on the birth certificate. He has my last name. Yeah, he is 100% mine, will always be mine. And he even tried, I told him about ayahuasca when we were still together and all of that. Well, I told him I was in Costa Rica, and I was like, well, I really want to go do this to heal my mental health. And apparently I was such an issue with him at this time that he would never be with someone with mental health issues, even though he knew from the beginning I had PTSD. But he told me that he would not let me go to Costa Rica. You can't do that. I can go do whatever I want. And I said, okay, well, if you don't want to watch Sunny while I'm in Costa Rica, then I will fly to Kansas City from Maui and drop him off, and my parents will stay with him, and then I will go to Costa Rica on my own. He said, no, that I'm basically like neglecting our child if I do that, if I have him stay with our grandparents. So now Sunny is staying with his grandparents while I'm in Costa Rica doing ayahuasca to heal myself for my son, and then he is meeting me there after, and we're gonna have the best week ever in Costa Rica and do all these other things. But yeah, he was literally trying to tell me that I was not allowed to do that. Again, don't know why. And he didn't want to watch Sunny. He didn't want me to leave him in Maui with him for a week. But yeah, turns out I'm pretty sure his ex-wife had a Costa Rican boyfriend or something after they divorced, and I think that triggered something in him is what I have gathered. So I think that's why he didn't want me to go. And also, guys, he has told me so many times now, not recently, but when we were fighting or whatever, oh, you remind me so much of my ex-wife, you remind me so much of his ex-wife. His ex-wife is cool, his ex-wife is amazing, I found out. Like, it's such a compliment to me, but he thought I was like being insulted by that. No, it's so cool. I'm honestly flattered that I remind him of his ex-wife, because she's a strong woman that left him when he was being terrible, and so am I. So that is the story. That is the tea. Sunny turns 2 months old tomorrow, and he is nothing. He's irrelevant, and now it's just us